Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and Season 35 cast has finally been announced. Probably the latest the cast has ever been announced in the history of Survivor. A bunch of new things before we get started on this cast assessment, just really important things. First, we have new logos, finally. We were able to kind of reveal where Will went, which was about as shocking as, I don't know, Jon Snow's parentage at this point. So it really wasn't much, but we finally changed the logos up. For obvious reasons, you won't be seeing Will this season or next season on this podcast. Can't speak to the future, but for obvious reasons, we won't be having him on during these seasons. So everybody who's begging for him to make guest appearances, it won't be about Survivor 35 or 36. That's for sure, because I'm pretty sure that would get him in trouble. Next, the logos look good. Alexa, you know, not for nothing, you're not that tan. Let's put it that way.
So I knew I was going to get a lot of flack for that because I don't know what emoji you guys used for your faces, but I just took my Bitmoji that I use when I'm like texting people, and all of my friends give me a lot of crap for it being way too tan. And to be fair, the shades are super separate. So if I were to go lighter, I would be Phil color, which I'm not, because I don't burn as well as you or this Patrick Bolton, who's already got a gorgeous red.
He's got a gorgeous red hue
orb right on his chest. So I was like, I'll go the next one up. And also, when I sit in the sun, which is not often because I work too much, I can get pretty tan. But you know what? Whatever. I look like a short-haired Pocahontas, and I'm running with it.
I love the person who comments. I forget who it was, but they're like, I don't want to sound racist, but Alexa, you're not black. And I was like, she's not. And this Bitmoji, whatever, looks quite black, but we'll call it tan. For Alexa's sake, it also doesn't help when you're next to Pasty White Phil, who does look exactly like Patrick Bolton. Patrick Bolton is who they casted on this season because I wasn't available. They wanted me to be on. They said, you can't. I was like, sorry, I'm busy. They were like, well, who can we get? I said, Patrick Bolton. He looks just like me. So let's throw him on.
Patrick Bolton actually may be a shade lighter than you, which I didn't think was possible. But you look, quote unquote, big quotes here, tan in the poor lighting of your apartment. So you've already got him beaten on one thing. So that's great. But yes, new logos. I, slaved away not doing my job at work making these, so I hope you guys like them. But yeah, we're rebranding. We're excited for a new season. Just today, Phil and I were texting, and we were like, should we talk tonight? Like, should we podcast? So we threw that tweet out, and it's like Jeff follows us or something, and Jeff drops it an hour later. So here we are, heroes versus healers versus hustlers. There we go. Season 35 cast assessment. Should we dive right into this?
See, I did heroes versus hustlers versus healers because that's what I had said. God, I got to change it. Nobody's ever going to be able to find us. I put it wrong on here, but let's dive into this. It's about time we got this. We finally, what is this? Patrick, Phil doesn't look that strong. Okay. First of all, Phil's very strong. We don't need,
Patrick looks way muscular, and I should have clarified that. It's strictly by skin tone. Pat is definitely way stronger than you. Are we on nickname basis? He's Pat already?
He's Pat. He might be like B level Phil. I don't really know what else we could call him.
I think Phil's a B-list Pat.
You know what? Let's start on this tribe since we've already talked about Pat so much. Let's start with the hustlers. We're gonna start with Pat mainly because he looks like me. So Pat, if you're out there listening, Patrick, Pat, whatever you want to be known as, if you're out there listening, you're our first person we're gonna talk about here. Alexa, by the way, this is your first real cast assessment. For anybody who's wondering, I just wanted to make acknowledgement of that. So if she does poorly, she's not a seasoned vet like Will and I. And really, you're following in Julia's footsteps, too, who was pretty spot on with who was a game changer and who wasn't during Game Changers.
Oh, man. I mean, I could do game changer versus not game changer. But, yeah, I did want to make a little, what would be the word? Like, PSA, this is my first time ever doing this. And I'm watching these videos, and we'll talk about them. And, again, as someone who has actually watched these videos before, tell me if this is me being crazy or Survivor being cheesy. But I'm loving the elegant walks. Like, those I knew were coming. But our boy Pat running around, trying to get a crab, picking up this crab and, shoving it in our face, and all these people doing these weird things. I'm like, this is so dumb, but I actually kind of like it.
Well, I was so confused. You can hear me, right? Because for some reason my mic muted for 3 seconds.
You're all good here.
What confused me with the Pat thing is I was seriously, so wondering, like, why is he after this crab? And another thing,
he's a hustler, Phil. He's a hustler.
He's a hustler, so he's going after the crab. I mean, you know what? Does he fit the hustle? This is a game we got to play too. Do they actually fit the tribe they're on?
Yes,
we need to play this game. Patrick is a hustler, small business owner in a small town. I know those types of people. I'm originally from a small town. He's absolutely a hustler, more so especially than a hero or a healer. He seems like he's really a fun guy. This was actually the first video I watched, and I actually liked him even more, like, not just because he looked like me, but I just really liked him.
Yeah, he had a natural charisma. He was I've only watched about half the videos just to put that out there. Spoiler alert, only seen about half of them. But he's one of the few that I did see. And he, like I said, has a very natural charisma. And he seemed very normal. And I think that takes you a lot farther than you would think it does. Because there are definitely a lot of characters in here, like game changer versus characters. There's a lot of characters floating around here. And he's a small business owner. He says, I work hard. I'm here to play. He's just very, very easygoing, but he didn't have any outlying negative qualities either. A lot of these people just went into their negative qualities, but he didn't go out and really list anything, unless I'm forgetting something. He gave off a really good first impression. I was really impressed by him.
Yeah, and I think what works for somebody like Pat is that it's that whole likability thing, and he's not the most threatening guy. He's like strong, but he's not like, he doesn't look like Devin, who's like somebody else we can get into. He doesn't look like Devin, but he also doesn't look like Ryan. So like he's kind of just like a normal looking dude who I feel like will fit in pretty well with these people because he didn't get put on a wrong tribe, which is always a nice thing because sometimes people just get thrown on a wrong tribe with like Alicia or something like that. He did not get thrown on a wrong tribe. So I actually like Pat. I don't know. What else would you say? You got anything else on Pat?
I'm reading his Xfinity bio, and he wants to put teriyaki sauce on everything. So he's got a huge check plus in my book.
My God. So he can just, like, while he's not drinking water, now he's just going to dump teriyaki sauce.
I know. I'm like, sure all that salt's going to be good for you.
I'm sure he'll be doing just dandy. Let's jump over to Devin Pinto because I said, Pat doesn't look like him. Originally, I don't know if this is one of the videos you watched. So
I did watch his video.
You did watch his video.
Yes.
I kind of thought Devin was going to be an idiot. I thought he was going to be like a Taylor, just come out, be out there, just this huge goofball. He's a surf instructor. He's had a bunch of jobs, all of this stuff. But honestly, I get more of a Fabio 2.0 from this guy. He thinks he's really smart. He goes to an after-school program for underprivileged kids. Like, his heart, I feel like, is in so much of the right place, and I also think he really understands his strengths and weaknesses, unlike Taylor.
Well, he had the ultimate Fabio quote. He said, I know what I look like, I know what I act like, and I'm going to ride that out. I'm going to let the people think that. And that was Fabio's outspoken strategy since day one, and he ended up winning his season. So I remember I saw a Reddit thread that was like, what's the douchiest picture? It's this one. Like, he's a happy guy. Like, just like, I understand the vibe that he's giving off. I know he's got the whole surf instructor bro thing going on, but he has his real estate license. So he's not just some boneheaded surfer. He's got a little more going on than just that. So I fear that he's just going to be typecast into that because that tribe is weird. That's a weird tribe. And so I fear he's an easy target because he's got the whole surfer bro athletic guy thing going on. And I hope that doesn't work against him.
Yeah, and I really liked Devin, and I was really surprised because I think that he will fit into this tribe. I mean, is he going to necessarily get along with Lauren? I don't know. But I could see him, and I could see Allie, and I could see Ryan even getting along and Patrick getting along. And the thing is, like, the reason I could throw Ryan in there, even with Devin, and they look like they would have nothing in common, I look at somebody like Devin, he's got a bigger heart. He works with, I'm not saying Ryan's underprivileged. Get out of here. Like, he's from North Arlington, New Jersey. I'm not saying that he's underprivileged. I'm just saying here's a smaller guy who might be seen as an outcast. And I feel like Devin does put a lot of effort into helping people who might be in a worse situation, and who's in more over their head than anyone is Ryan. And I feel like Devin could actually pair up with them because that's just his natural tendency. And look how well it worked for Fabio, just kind of going back and forth between these alliances. You don't need to side with the bullies. Side with the people that, need your help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. Should we, since we're talking about Ryan, should we segue into him?
Yes, and here we go with Ryan. Here's Ryan.
He was the one that everyone was talking about. He was the face that everyone had.
There is no one that Survivor's trying to play up more as the fan favorite of this season already than Ryan Ulrich.
Yeah, there's already been a 2.5-minute video, and he's the face.
It's crazy because his video was the longest. He actually got to like explain his entire story. We know so much.
He talked about his dad at the family visit.
I know. And I remember big time with Second Chances, Joe's whole storyline was he got to get his dad to the family visit. And that's what the storyline was. So Ryan's coming out here. I feel like they kind of wanted him to be a little bit Cochran-y, but then I think he's a little more social than Cochran was. I think he can fit into like a weird situation. He's a bellhop. He waited tables. He used to have an impediment. And now he likes to articulate everything. So like, I think that he is what they wanted Cochran to be, like Cochran to be the first time around. But I feel like he's actually going to be a little bit more social and actually be able to interact with people a little bit better than Cochran did. Mm-hmm. And he's this small guy, and he's a huge fan. I mean, he comes out and says, you don't need to be, by the way, anybody who's new, Alexa gets attacked by random ambulances and cars and cop cars and everything.
Yes, actively attacked.
Yes.
I'm actually, in 2 weeks, I'm moving to a high-rise, very she apartment where we won't be able to hear these. I think I bragged about that last podcast.
I don't remember.
But this will only be happening for, wow, this is a bad one. Only happening for 2 more podcasts.
There you go.
Excited.
But
anyways, continue. If you're done with your thought, I can come back.
I just wanted to say one more thing. He came out and he said, you don't have to be in control on day one. You have to be in control later. He reminds me of like a David. He might not fit in right away, but people are going to like him. He's going to be a likable character, and he just needs to get into a position where you can get over those first 3 days, because that's going to be the hardest part for Ryan. And if he can get past the first 3 days, he's set.
And that segues perfectly into what I was about to say. So I watched his video. Is he the one who mentioned Tony?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I forget who mentioned Tony. But so, okay, I'll talk about that.
A girl mentioned Tony, I think.
I think it was it Simone?
Maybe it was him. I don't know. Who mentioned Tony?
I don't know.
Comment saying that. So who mentioned Tony?
Come on, someone tell us. He'll be Todd. Ryan. I don't want Todd. Just because he decently looks like Todd does not mean he's going to be Todd. Okay, so anyways, what I have to say about Ryan, you hit the nail on the head with he's got to survive the first 3 days. Like you said, he's going to be the guy that they're playing up. What I fear for him is I fear he's going to come out hot. He's very coming off as very charismatic, loves the game, and the people who loudly love the game, I'm always a little fearful for them. So I'm looking at their tribe. Lauren sticks out as the outlier, unfortunately. She's the one who sticks out. I didn't see Allie's video. I really only saw Patrick, Devin, Simone, and Ryan's. So I don't really know how any of them are going to work out. At first glance, you don't think that Ryan's going to connect with Patrick or Devin, but I think as long as he doesn't come out like super hot, like the guy that we're being shown, if he tones that down, then I think that he'll make it to this family visit like they're playing up. The fact that they put that in there to me is a glaring siren.
Yeah, because the preseason and postseason like stuff has now become part of the storylines for people, in the interviews and all of that.
That's what I was going to ask. How much do you look into this in terms of actual gameplay?
I mean, I think that it could be. I think it definitely plays more of a factor now than it did 5 seasons ago, or 6 seasons ago, or 10 seasons ago. So I think it was Rourke who mentioned Tony. That's
okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay,
we'll get to her.
Yeah, so I think that it plays more of a role now because I think people look for it. I think Survivor knows how many people do it, who watch these things and look into it, and they want to build up a story beforehand. I mean, they never used to show the cast before they actually released it, and now they show the cast on finale night of the previous season, so they know what it's become, and I think that it is a little bit more of a role. But my thing with Ryan is, if you compare him to a David was on a tribe of 10. Ryan's on a tribe of 6. It is so much harder to hide on a tribe of 6. Alicia couldn't hide. She tried to stick around as long as she could. You look at somebody like Jatia, who made it way longer than she should have, but she couldn't hide being on that tribe. Angie couldn't hide being on that tribe. If your tribe gets rid of stronger people on a small tribe, you're bound to actually continue to lose challenges, which eventually means you're going to go home. So I worry for Ryan in that sense that if the 3 tribes sticks around for a little bit, he's going to be in trouble.
I don't think it's going to stick around for very long just based on what we've seen recently. I think we maybe go through 2 votes and give it a switch up, especially if those 2 votes are on the same tribe. But you bring up a good point with the challenges. I know that's something that people don't talk about anymore, but everyone's talking about Lauren as the glaring outlier, but she'll probably do a little better in a challenge than Ryan would. So
absolutely.
How do you value that? So if he, like you said, he's got to survive that first week. You got to make the relationships fast. And that's something that he seems like he can do, but it all depends on how everyone else is feeling too.
Well, let's jump over to Lauren then, because I think that's a good little segue. This reminded me, I have not seen a character like Lauren, I think, since Denise. She had the same demeanor. It was calm. It was like, which Denise? Okay, come on, Alexa. You really think that I'm comparing her to Denise Stapley? Seriously.
I'm sorry. Denise Stapley is the Denise that everyone talks about. So please, that's why I wanted you to clarify.
That's why I said this is the first time I have not seen a character like Lauren. I feel like it's the first time since Denise in China. Forget her last name. Why am I forgetting her last name?
Martin. Wow.
Thank you, Denise. That was good. She knows who she is. She doesn't care. She is out there because she is a hard worker. She has this job. Like, she's a fisherman, commercial fisherman, but it's been in her blood, all this stuff. Like, I really think that we have like another version of that where she could just be likable enough that people might say, you know what? Lauren's over there. She's doing her thing. She's helping us out. Let's get rid of somebody else before we get rid of Lauren. Because I really feel like that she could be an asset to an alliance. I don't necessarily think she's going to be all that cunning, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially early on when, like she says, she's the linebacker who played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And you like with the demeanor, I definitely see that. And so, like you said, I don't think she's going to be cunning. What I am fearful for her, and again, correct me if this is just me noticing it because I haven't seen these videos before, but she spent a lot of time talking about her negatives. And one of her negatives, she said, was her being stubborn. And on a tribe of a lot of hustlers, of a tribe of hustlers who are just going out there and they're working hard and they're putting themselves out there, that's a lot of stubborn people. And you put a lot of stubborn people on the same tribe, and that's not going to end well. And so hopefully she can put that aside. She knows herself better than any of us do. Hopefully, depending on how strong a quality that is, she can put that aside and just assimilate, crush it in challenges, forge those relationships, and then see where things go from there. Because this is a super young cast, and she's not even that old, like at all. But by this cast standards, she is, unfortunately.
See, and here's my whole thing. I talked about this, and now I can finally get this out because I think we talked about it.
Now we can talk about it.
Podcast. I don't think this cast is all that much younger than a normal cast. If you do the average age and you remove an outlier like Joe, I mean, Game Changers is obviously an older cast because you have like Jeff Varner who played in season 2 and was already like 40 years old. So you cut that one out. If you look at Co-Wrong and you remove, Joe, it's pretty much around the same age. It's some people in their mid 30s, some people in their mid 40s, and then everybody else is just in their 20s. Most of that cast is in their 20s. If you look at Millennials versus Gen X, even the Gen X, Ken was 33 years old. Like, nobody was that old on that tribe. The really old one was Paul, and Paul goes home super early. So it was like he never really had a play in it anyway. But you look at this cast, and you look at somebody like Lauren. She's 35 years old. She's 11 years older than 10 years older than the next oldest person on her tribe. And I don't want to say this is like a good-looking tribe because I don't necessarily think it is. I mean,
but they think that's like the vibe they have going.
That's the vibe. Exactly. That's the vibe. And Lauren might have a hard time if they go under the water and they're all completely naked, including Ryan, who I think is just out there. I think Ryan is the more self-confident version of Cochran. If they're all in the water naked or doing their thing, Lauren's going to have a hard time with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what I thought of too. So, yeah, I'm excited for this Hustlers tribe. It seems like it could be a hot mess.
Yes, and I want to jump over to Simone next because to me, Simone screams early boot. And my reason for Simone screaming early boot is because she says flat out she has a hard time keeping her mouth shut. And that is always a freaking early boot. She's very honest about her opinions, and she calls it constructive confrontation.
I wrote that down.
On Survivor, there is no constructive confrontation. We just talked about Aris because we did our rewatch of Panama, which if you guys haven't watched it and you're new listeners, go and do that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But we just talked about Aris, how he would always confront people. He won that season because he was on a season with crazies. You're on a tribe with only 5 other people. If you're calling people out immediately, you're done. That's the easy reason to get rid of you.
Constructive confrontation. When she said that, I had to rewind, and I was like, she cannot. Like in real life, that's a whole nother animal. But on this island, Alan was I know I'm switching tribes here. Alan was the first one I watched, and he said, yeah, if I'm hungry, I'm going to have a hard time listening to people. Mm-hmm. And that pretty much just speaks to Survivor as a whole. If one person says the wrong thing to you at the wrong time, you're done. And this looks like a tribe. I mean, Ryan seems like he has a strong personality. Patrick, whatever the heck we're going to call him. He seems like he really won't take any BS. Lauren, I don't think he'll take any BS. So I think hearing one constructive comment come out, she's out the window.
Yeah, and I think that's troublesome. And on these small tribes, we see it all the time. Somebody just says the wrong thing and they go home. And that could easily happen to Simone. Also, I have to bring up the jobs that we've had so far because we had the commercial.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do heal. We forgot to do whether or not they fit there.
Yes. Okay. So Devin, surf instructor, hustler. I was saying no when I saw surf instructor, but the fact that he does like the after school stuff and everything too. I mean, at least he has more than one job. So I guess you could kind of pull off hustler, like he's working more than one job. He's not a hustler.
I mean, to me, it depends on like the job that they're telling us. Like if he was an after-school instructor, I know there's a better way to put that, why aren't we putting him on heroes or healers? I feel like he fell into hustlers.
Yes, I agree. He's a surf instructor. It seems like he had to hustle to become a surf instructor because he had to learn how to surf and everything. I don't buy him as a hustler. Lauren, 100% hustler, fisherman, single mother. Ryan,
she's a hustler. Ryan's a hustler.
Ryan's a hustler. He's a bellhop, which is great. I mean, they're going to play up the bellhop thing so much.
They're going to love that. They're going to eat that up.
He's your bellhop.
New York bellhop.
And then we get to Simone, and she's a diversity advocate, which is a job title. And this is what I love about Survivor is like, this is a job title that wouldn't have existed back in the first season of Survivor.
Yeah.
Like diversity advocate would not be something. And there's a lot of people on this season who have worked multiple jobs and they specifically picked surf instructor for Devin. They specifically picked bellhop for Ryan. They're playing people up with this. With Simone, by putting diversity advocate, you might have to hustle to like maybe get people on board with your cause. But what I'm most confused about is why, like, how does she end up on the hustler tribe with that? Because to me, that's kind of more of like a hero type thing, you would think. Wouldn't you?
So I think the
shirtless hot man walking behind Alexa. Anybody who's watching this.
Oh my God! Thank goodness I am.
And a girl comes running out the door behind him. My God, what are you living?
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So we'll talk about the heroes tribe. I think they're using the word heroes in a very specific way, and it's different from what you would immediately think is a hero. So I can get on board with the job diversity advocate as a hustler because, like you said, that's a job that didn't exist 10 years ago, and that's getting people on board. That's getting people behind your cause. But I didn't get the hustler vibe from her when she was very, not soft-spoken, but very casual, very calm. And a lot of these other hustlers were very intense. They were very passionate. And I didn't get that so much from her. So that's why I have a hard time giving her the hustler designation. But if we're going job by job, I would give her that.
I would give her that, but
the heroes are like the heroes. We'll get to that. That's the one I'm more confused with.
Well, and I will say, like, Simone also made it seem like she'd be doing like a lot of scheming, a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. I just worry that she's not going to be able to stay around long enough to get to that point because I could see her having a hard time fitting in right away. If she's not willing to let people talk and speak, and she feels like she needs to do her constructive confrontation, people might be like, she's not a hustler. She's just kind of throwing her opinions at me, which, you know, if you're a diversity advocate, you are clearly somebody who is outspoken. You're somebody who's out there trying to rally people behind your cause. You're very vocal. That doesn't necessarily work on Survivor.
So that's why, like you said, that's why her demeanor and her job didn't necessarily connect with me. They seemed to give off very different vibes, which is why I don't really know what to make of her. Not that your job should give you, not that like your job should give me the keys to everything about what you do, but that's kind of the biggest tell-all that we have about these players right now. And so we're just comparing people based on what they do and what we think that they do. So, but I can't move past the constructive confrontation. That's my glaring issue. Not her job, not her demeanor. As soon as she said that, I was like, she's done with that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how Simone goes, but I know we're going to be doing our boot list rankings and, our games and our prop bet games. Simone is going to be somebody I always put at like my bottom. She's going to be at the bottom. I'm not
going to put her always. I don't know if I can go so far as say that now, but at the beginning, I'm just at these first impressions, I don't have a great read on her.
Yeah. And, we're only getting 2 minutes of people. So why not jump from yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Why not jump from Simone, who I think is an early boot, to Allie, who I think is your winner of Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers.
Write it down.
Write it down. She's, I've only watched 2 minutes of all these videos, all of that, but I've never had more of a personal connection. This is the first time since Eric Reichenbach that I've had such a personal connection with a castaway, because she lives in North Hollywood, which is the glorious place where I live in this crappy little apartment. Mm-hmm. She is a celebrity assistant, which means she takes so much shit out here. She has had to deal with so much BS. And the fact that if you listen to what she does, I mean, I work as an assistant in Hollywood, which is just, whatever you want to call it. But what she does,
big time hustler.
It's a big time hustler. I mean, it's a nightmare. But then you look at what she actually does, and she is like a personal assistant. And I was like an assistant who got pushed into a personal assistant at one point. And you better have a really good boss, because when you're somebody's personal assistant, they're pretty much your mother. They just yell at you whenever they feel like yelling at you. They tell you they don't like you or what you're doing when they feel like it. And I'm telling you, Allie, she has that demeanor of she can let things roll off her back. I really think that she's got this. She's smart enough to keep it together and say, you know what? I got to keep my mouth shut here. So what if they yell at me? It doesn't matter, because tomorrow is another day and I'm going to get the last laugh on them. Because really, anybody who's an assistant in Hollywood is just hoping that one day they're in the power position and can laugh at the person who treated them like shit.
Mm-hmm. So she's
going to win. She is going to win.
All right. I'm going to write it down. So that's your winner pick. I like it. So she's the one video on this tribe that I did not get to. So now I'm really looking forward to watching hers. But if she said anything along the lines of, if someone says something mean to me, I'm going to let it roll off my back, I'm already into her, because we've just been talking about all these really strong personalities. And for her to just dial back and say, all right, Hollywood elites, you guys argue it out. I'm just going to be here and vote with you. That's going to get her very far, very early. That's going to help her out. So I see that as a huge, huge asset. And because I know just about nothing about her, I'm reading her Xfinity bio. And because that's what I got on her right now.
And it's great.
Yeah, it's great. I like her 3 things on the island. She's got a mirror, which I could totally get behind. Her Bible, and most importantly, I know we're not gonna talk very much about this, but she needs tampons. And that's something that I thought, I was like, if I ever go on Survivor, what's the move here? So I'm glad someone else is thinking that.
Somebody else is worried about it. And also the mirror thing, she doesn't just want the mirror to see if she's looking good, because she can possibly use the reflection to help make fire. Yeah, I think she means her reflection. Let's be
economical. That's how hot she is.
That's what she's going for. I mean, I think that she's got, I really do. I think she's great. Maybe it's just because I've done it and I know I would win. So I'm assuming that if she's doing it, she would win. She's also got the whole Christian background, which is something out here in this area that you don't hear much about. That's not something that people really show off out here, especially like if you're like an assistant. That really is never going to play into your job unless you're working for like a celebrity who is super religious. But that doesn't happen all that much out here. So for her to be vocal about that also says something to me, where it's like, if she's working out here as a personal assistant to somebody who probably isn't very religious, and I know I'm making giant assumptions, but I live in it, so I'm going to. then that means like she's I think she's also got that personality where she doesn't have to tell everybody what's on her mind all the time. It's a big deal in today's society.
Well, that's what I was going to say. A lot of times very religious people don't do well on Survivor because everyone, you know, like you said, everyone wants to keep to themselves. But she seems smart enough where she would probably speak about that to the right people and know to keep it close to the vest to other people. So yeah, we'll see where she goes with that. But I think she's the only person who mentioned any form of religion in her bio, and good on her for doing that.
Yeah, I think there might have been one other person, but I forget where it was. But anyway, yeah, I like Allie. I think Allie is great. She's definitely a hustler. Yeah, there you go. So let's jump over to which tribe you want to go to.
Should we go backwards and do the healers?
Yeah, we can do the healers. Let's do the healers. We got
Are you excited about that?
I don't know. The healers to me was probably my least favorite tribe. Not that I dislike them, but they were just
Phil, I just lost you.
I don't understand why.
There you go. Yeah, it just popped up. That's super weird.
Weird. But I just don't see this tribe meshing as one. I could see them being like a what was the yellow tribe in Philippines that never lost, but then once they got to the merge, it was like, yo, we should just vote each other out because we're all annoying. Tandang?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, Tandang, Calabao,
I could see them kind of being like that. Like they're all really strong. I mean, look at the abs on this tribe. Look, Cole, then look at Desi, then look at Jessica. I mean, Jessica's freaking jacked. Joe, I mean, he's got a shirt on, thank God. And then you got poor Mike, who is just like doesn't belong there. The poor guy. But
the poor urologist.
I know, right? With one of the biggest practices in all of Florida. Yeah, okay. I'm sure he's really struggling. But I just sit here and I wonder, how do they mesh? Hustlers, I can see meshing. This tribe, I feel like this is where the strong personalities are, but I also don't think you get many winners from this part. And I will say that I think Jessica could win. I do think Desi could win. I do think Cole could win, but I even think Joe could win or Mike could win. It's just one of those, like, I have no idea. I don't have a read on these people.
So this is I watched one video of this group. So this group, I know I am going in cold. I know nothing here. But
wow. Thank God we have you.
Yeah, this is great. I'm here for the comic relief. I don't see hustlers gelling. So that I don't know where I see healers gelling more. I see them as athletic, and Mike is the one that we stand out. Mike's the one with the jewel event of a job. He's the one. He's the urologist in Florida. I don't know. Yeah, I think the healers are in a weird position because I know that the theme doesn't matter anymore, but we're talking about it now because in the first couple boots it does matter, and I feel like the healers are just not the heroes. That's what I think they are. Mm-hmm. They kind of felt they couldn't, like a physical therapist or a nurse. They very well could be heroes. Like why aren't they the heroes?
Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of just ended up here. And I feel like with that, it's just going to be a bunch of jumbled personalities who, again, just ended up on the same beach together because that was just the way the chips fell.
Yeah, and we'll talk to the heroes thing when we get to heroes. But, I mean, my whole thing is all of these people definitely, I think that they all are healers. I think all of them fit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a social worker, that's a job that heals people. Urologist, clearly. Probation officer, maybe. Nurse practitioner, yes. Physical therapist, yes. Wilderness therapy guide, once we actually got what that was, yeah, I think they all do heal, but I don't know. There's something about this tribe where as I was watching it, I was like, there's just too much strong personality here. Mm-hmm. This might be the most fun tribe to watch, but I also think that it is the tribe that is not meant to have anybody sit in the final three. Or the person who would sit in the final three is the person who never got along with them in any way. You know?
So if we're going to compare them to the Tandang tribe, again, I know nothing about them. I view the heroes as my number one challenge group, not the hustlers and not the healers. The heroes to me come out very strong challenge-wise. So maybe the healers come in number two, but I don't know. Just at first glance, I see the heroes and then the hustlers somehow stumbling in as number two.
Because my thing with the healers is a lot of these challenges, they come down to the puzzle most of the time, and it's like who can get the most time working on the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the healers are going to be in last place going into the puzzle if everybody has to participate in the physical part. Because I don't think Mike is physical enough. And if everybody has to participate in the physical part, I think Mike's in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's actually your David 2.0, by the way. He's actually the David 2.0.
Well, you have a tribe of 6, and we have the required puzzle. You probably put either 1 or 2 people on the puzzle. Was it Rourke who said she was good at puzzles? Someone talked about that.
Yeah.
I guess she got a lot of airtime too. She got a long video.
Yeah, and I don't know how I felt about Rourke.
So she's like, I feel like isn't she like big in the community? And isn't she on someone's podcast? She's on like Max and Corinne's podcast or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't.
I don't either. But she's somehow involved in the community, so she's got a lot of like big time hype. I don't know really what to make of her either. She went 100 different ways. She did the social work. I love to help people, but I also am going to do the boiling a frog analogy, which is always a weird analogy.
Great stuff. I thought it was great.
So I compare her to Ryan in that I fear that she's going to come out a little hot.
I think that she said that she used to control the kids during playtime. She wanted to be the one who bossed people around and said, like, you're the princess, you're the frog. She got a perfect SAT score. I just feel like she's going to be somebody who's going to be too much of an ego. And if the healers lose, I feel like she's done. And what's interesting, this healers tribe to me almost feels like the Braun tribe, where they look like they shouldn't lose. And I'm talking the Braun tribe from Korong. They look like they really shouldn't lose. You had Jenny, you had Jason, you had Scott, and they're losing big physical challenges. You had Sydney, you had Darnell, who, even though he probably shouldn't have been on the Braun tribe, he was definitely more than competent. He just lost the mask. Like, I feel like this tribe is a lot like that, where they're just kind of – it's going to be like one of those where you're like, how did they lose? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. I'm looking at them, and I just don't see them gel. I definitely see athletes. Oh, actually, I saw Desi's video. Okay, so I've seen 2 out of the 6. Yeah, it just seemed like a bunch of different personalities. But for some reason, I see the hustlers being more of a mess than the healers.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
but yeah, Rourke. Yeah, so I don't know. Rourke, I feel like is probably going to be the catalyst for all that. That's what I'm seeing from what I watched in her video.
Yeah, I wasn't huge on Rourke. I mean, she could also be like the Michelle, where like she comes out and I actually really enjoy her. Talking about Michelle, not Fitzgerald, other Michelle. But that could easily be the case. So let's go from Rourke to Mike, who's the other one who I think could actually like wear down this tribe. Mike is a huge fan of this show. He is a huge fan of this show. But he's so naive, and I think he's underestimating these younger people. Saying that he's seen more episodes of the show because he's been around longer. It's what were they watching it at too? It's like, dude, Alexa watched 12 seasons or whatever in a month. Like the internet exists, buddy. Like, come on. Yeah. So I think that he might underestimate these people, but I also think he doesn't give me that David vibe from God, why does everybody have the same name that I want to bring up here? Miami Marlins guy. He doesn't have
David Samson.
Thank you. He doesn't have the David Samson vibe where it's like, I'm older than everybody here and I'm going to play it up and I'm going to like try to take this leadership role. No, I think he knows he has to take a step back. I don't think he's like naturally going to be a leader, but I just don't think he can fit in. I just don't see it.
So in his video, did he talk about how big of a fan he is? Because again, to me.
He was talking about how much he watched the show and how this was like the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And he named his kid. Here we go. This is a great story. You need to talk about this. He's married with 3 kids. He named his kid after Ethan. His hall pass was Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think. His wife's hall pass was Ethan from Survivor. The only problem was Ethan and him lived like 3 blocks away from each other in New York. So he saw Ethan every week. And then it turned out that they named the kid Ethan after Ethan. And he was like, I was just very happy when the kid ended up looking like me and not looking like Ethan. So he is a huge fan of the show.
Well, there's a lot of weird Freudian ways that's a little messed up.
Oh, yeah, he meant it to be.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm excited to watch his video. But Yeah, again, in my inaugural cast assessment, I'm a little freaked out by people who talk about how big of a fan they are, because I feel like we're at a point in Survivor where it's such a niche market that the people who cast are probably going to be huge fans. So the people who are saying, no, I'm a bigger fan. I'm the best fan. I named my kid after Ethan, and my wife also wants to get involved with Ethan, but they're all the same person. I don't know. That gives me a red flag.
Well, that's to bring up the whole Adam Klein thing. He says Jeff is the most passionate, biggest fan of Survivor. He says,
yeah, come on, Adam.
He's number 2 because he won, and then he puts Will above you and me. I mean, remember who dragged Will to damn Pop Fest? Don't forget that. I had to drag him, kicking and screaming. He wanted to go.
Are we on the anti-Will train of the night?
Yeah, can we do that real quick? He wanted to go
up,
get
viewers.
drinks, and he didn't want to do his Halloween weekend. He didn't have time for that. Get out of here. But anyway, just saying, I still think I should be 3A. Honestly, I think I should be ahead of Adam. He probably wasn't even a fan until he got on the show.
Yeah, come on.
Totally playing it up. He doesn't even like it.
Yeah, he doesn't even watch the show. He was like early, just went on blind.
It's not like he was a fan of us before that.
No, certainly not. Well, I can't say because he didn't know who I was.
Yeah, he actually had no idea that you existed. Moving on. All right, let's move on from Mike to the next oldest person on the tribe, which is Joe, who's the probation officer. And at first, I'm sitting here and I'm going, they want him to be Tony. That's all they want.
Oh, he's the bald. He's got the shoulder tattoo.
Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what. I actually don't think he's bad. I think that he might have the right type of personality for this game. He says he's not trusting. He says that he doesn't get emotionally invested because every day he's trying to manipulate people into giving him information. He also said he learned how to swim once he found out he was going to be on Survivor, and now he feels like Michael Phelps. So, you know, I actually think that he might have what it takes to go pretty far in this game. Although when you look at him initially, you go, God, this guy's going to be just a pain. But I don't think so.
So, did not see his video. So, reading his cast bio, I don't see him giving off the being a pain in the butt vibe, because his whole thing is about his family, about having a picture of his kids, being like how much he loves his kids. So, and I didn't read Tony's cast assessment, but I can't imagine that's what he was saying. And so he gives off the very, very family-oriented vibe, which at first glance is a good thing. So, but you said he's not very trusting of people. I think that's good. He actually trained to be on Survivor. How many people get cast, and do you think they're just like, oh yeah, I'll figure it out, I'll wing it?
Hey, those are the people who don't go to swim.
Yeah, so learning how to swim is huge, and we have an Olympic swimmer on this season. So
I want to see if Joe beats her in a race.
I know, yeah, Michael Phelps. I mean, those are big shoes to fill.
That's what I meant. All right, well, let's jump to the abs of the group now. Because the 3 left are the people who are like, hey. And by the way, Mike did say, he's like, I got a no pack. There's some people out here with a 6-pack. There's some people out here with a pack I didn't even know existed. I got nothing. I don't even have a 2-pack. So, you know, then we look at, let's jump all the way up to Cole, who, I don't know if he's flexing in this picture or not, but my God, he's muscles.
He is pristine.
I'm going to assume that this is who Will was, like, you know, for like the whole Dream Team thing. I'm going to assume that Will had to be Cole, you know, tall,
oh my God,
handsome, so muscular. You know, Will is just so muscular. Look at that chiseled jawline, the perfect hair.
How much money is Will paying you right now?
Actually, he just slipped me $500 to say all of that. So.
Oh, hey, Will.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of $250, you owe me that for Sarah winning, but that's beside the point.
No, I'm going to come fly, and we're going to do a dual podcast sitting next to each other.
There you go. All right. Anyway, Cole.
So I didn't watch his video. Tell me what it means to be a wilderness therapist guide.
A wilderness therapy guide. I thought this was probably the most interesting job they've ever had on Survivor. So
I don't know. You love Morgan the Magician.
Well, Morgan the Magician, that's different. That's just because she was a magician's assistant, first of all.
Big difference. Celebrity assistant, magician's assistant. Second
of all, so what Wilderness Therapy Guide is, it's for people or kids, like younger people, who go through this traumatic event and they can't mature past a certain thing because of their life. So they actually take these people out and they live in the desert. He said they live in the desert of Utah, or they live in the woods or something like that. It's almost like a Captain Fantastic type thing, except like they are willing to do this as opposed to just like having your kids there. But whatever, that's beside the point. so what he does is he brings them, and sometimes he said it's for up to like 200 days. And by the time they're out of there, they've gone through this therapy where now they can actually mature and become like better people and more well-rounded and kind of get over the traumatic event that happened in their life. And I find this to be a super interesting job.
I think that's fascinating.
It's amazing. And also, this is a guy who lives out of his car. He says right now he lives out of a Prius, which is hilarious because look at the size of him. So there's all these things going for this guy. My problem with Cole is I just don't know if it's going to come across authentic enough, because he doesn't want the cushy life. He wants to live, and he's fine living in the car. He'd rather just buy a van and live in that so he can go drive up to the mountains and all that. But we just watched Guatemala again. And when we watched Guatemala, God, I'm blanking. Blake, here's a guy who is probably more arrogant than Cole is, for sure. But he always talked about himself and these crazy things he did. And I really think that Cole is a guy who has such an interesting background and does so many interesting things that he's actually going to talk about it too much.
Does he? So other than the fact that he does something cool, did he give off a vibe in his video that said he likes to talk about what he does?
No, but his personal claim to fame is that he's climbed the 2 tallest peaks in the Western Hemisphere. He's unreserved, dauntless, and flirtatious. He would bring weights to the beach to work out every day.
And a giant box of Legos.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he would bring beach volleyball set because he could destroy everyone at it. I mean, this is a guy, I don't think he's arrogant. I think he's playing it up a little bit here. And in his video, I didn't get a huge arrogant vibe. But I feel like he's a guy who likes to tell his story to people. And that can hurt. That hurts anybody in this game.
It didn't hurt Dan the astronaut.
You're right, but he still got 11th place.
It's not, but not because he was an astronaut.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I need to watch his video. I just feel like based on what he does, when you tell me what he does, the first thing I think of is this guy can survive in the wild. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. So that's why I like him. I take these bios with a grain of salt because I think they know. Do they know what tribe they're on at this point?
No, but the people are at CBS. I watched the CBS videos. And CBS is asking leading questions to try to get the answer.
I think he knows. He's probably looking at his tribe. He's looking at his group, and he's saying, "I'm the strongest. I'm the buffest guy here. I've got a cool wilderness job," and he probably knows to play that up. So, I have some faith in him, but I also need to watch his video.
Honestly, Alexa, you're going to watch this video and nothing's going to change because we're watching 2-minute videos and predicting everything that's going to happen in this game for them. Yeah. This is why we have to talk about it. This is why we have to talk about its death and do so many podcasts, the boot list, the prop bet, all that stuff. This is why we have to do so much of that, just so that we can talk about them until we've convinced ourselves, like, you know what? We've gone through every one of their flaws. Maybe they won't win. Yeah.
And then our 2 winner picks go 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a winner pick? Can you make a winner pick on this podcast? I mean, normally me and Will do, and then you can change it up. But like normally we at least have somebody. This is where I made the infamous statement that Michelle Fitzgerald is going to win. Just want to keep bringing that up.
I don't know what these very intense rules are. I don't want to because I've only watched half the cast videos. Oh, I don't listen to your opinion. So I don't.
You don't listen to my opinion, really?
So I know that I could go into it after this podcast still with my own head on my shoulders. Am I allowed to not make it on this one?
I mean, you're allowed, but it's fun. It's always fun to do the knee-jerk reaction of like, who do you think's gonna win? Just from like looking at the people.
Well, in that case, I can make my knee-jerk one right now because we're about.
That. You don't have to keep this. This isn't saying.
Okay, I'm gonna make my knee-jerk one, and then whenever we need to commit, we'll commit. But Desi was the second video, the second video of the Healer's Chat that I watched. And I really liked her because she was incredibly well-spoken, but didn't give off the Rourke or the Ryan vibe of, I'm very charismatic, I'm very this, I'm very that. But she was very well-spoken, she was very calm, she's clearly athletic. She really blew me away in her video. I loved her.
Yeah, I think Desi's really good. And she's got this whole, like, she's nervous, but she's excited. Like, she's got that, like, I'm terrified of this, but I can't wait to do it, which is exactly the feeling you're supposed to have. It's like stepping on the line for, like, a big race or going to a big sporting event, and you're playing. I mean, you're supposed to have that nervous feeling, but you're also supposed to be excited about it because you want the challenge. And I think Desi, like, totally eats that up. I think Desi, she's a physical therapist. She's a professor. She's a thrill seeker. She does all these things. I really think Desi Desi has what it takes for sure.
Wow,
so
you like my winner pick.
I do. I actually think I think Desi, Jessica. Here's my quick run through. I think out of the first 2 tribes we did, I would say Desi, Jessica, Allie, and Patrick were my favorite 4 out of those 12 people.
Yeah, Patrick and Desi I really, really liked. Yeah. So yeah, that's who my winner pick is.
There you go.
Yeah. So coming in very hot, only watching 10 of the videos, but like we just said, she gave off a really great vibe. And like you said, she's nervous but excited. That's very normal. That's very natural. She seems very at ease with who she is, and I think that'll do really well for her. And she's a physical therapist?
She's a physical therapist and a professor.
So yeah, and a professor. Man, these people are.
But she had to be a physical therapist because it's a healer's tribe.
Yes. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's true. So yeah, they have to run with that. But oh man, all these people have a ton of jobs. Good for them.
Yeah, they all work. It's crazy.
Yeah, what is that? I'm building all these YouTube banners at my job.
This should have been the Millennials versus Gen X cast, so that the Gen X could all have 15 jobs, and Millennials could all have 1. Everybody could be like, "What is this lame stuff? They don't work hard."
Millennials don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, all these Millennials are working way too much. So then after that, jump to Jessica, is the last person we got to touch on here on the Healers Tribe. To me, Jessica looks like if Alicia aged 5 years and came to play again and decided, you know what, I want to be on the Brawn Tribe, and this time I'm actually going to look like I should be on the Brawn Tribe. They look so similar. It actually bothers me a little bit. Like if Alicia just put on muscle.
This girl looks strong.
Yeah, I really liked Jessica from her video.
She's a nurse practitioner and created a health and wellness brand. Man. Yeah,
she stalks people at the gym, which also sounds like something Will would do. So
wait, what is it? Yeah, but he would do it in a creepy way.
Well, who says she's not? She says it's the only way she learns. I mean, that's a little creepy.
Yeah, Will's not trying to learn.
Anyway, she's the one who brought up being a Christian. She brought up being a Christian. She was one of the few people to say that she was religious. But she at the end of her video, she goes on this like tangent about how she wants everything. She wants Blindside. She wants Idols. She wants Storm. She wants the misery. She wants the entire experience. And I think that she's coming into this with such a I'm excited personality. And I think she's very upbeat. I don't know. I really like Jessica. I think that she's going to have a nice personality. I hope she doesn't talk her way out of the game. She did say she talks a lot. But maybe when you're hungry, you don't talk as much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at her bio, and the 3 things she wants are baby powder to make her hair look good, a Swiss Army knife to be useful, and a fishing pole to eat. I can get behind all those.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'll check out her video.
Yeah, you should. So then that leaves us with the Heroes Tribe. And I agree with you that this was not what I expected with Heroes. What I find interesting about this, and I'm okay with it, is they took every variety of hero. You have a lifeguard who could be seen as a hero for saving lives, if you want to go that way. Whatever. They could also be...
See, that's the one that makes the most sense to me.
Okay, but listen. A Marine is definitely a hero to people. That is a Marine is somebody who's definitely a hero.
So, the lifeguard and the Marine are the one, and a firefighter. Well, those are the ones that make the most sense to me. I'm
going through them all, though. Hang on. We got this. Firefighter, definitely. That's somebody people look up to. An Olympian, that's definitely a hero to somebody. A little kid growing up, Derek Jeter could be your hero. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be Derek Jeter. So that's why I throw in, the Olympian and the NFL player. Of course. I mean, he played on the Jaguars. I don't know if people have, like, heroes who played on the Jaguars, but still.
Jaguars, so weird.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm here for you. So anyway, he's on that team that I now cannot say. But, these are people who are heroes. And then, obviously, a financial analyst is a hero because she's from New Jersey. So why wouldn't she be a hero?
Oh, my God.
Honestly, I was going through everything, and I was like, wow. I was going through the heroes, and I was like, wow. Alan makes sense. Ashley makes sense. Ben makes sense. JP makes sense. Katrina makes sense. Chrissy, huh? Okay, they just literally didn't have anywhere to put her, huh? Oh, okay.
I feel like they should have dropped her on the Hustlers.
Yeah, they probably could have dropped her on Hustlers because even when she's describing,
now I'm looking at who they could have.
But even when she's describing like what she does, like they could have switched her and Simone, to be completely honest. Put Simone as a hero, put her as a hustler. And like the whole thing is like, even when she was describing what she does, it's like, I have to predict what goes on in the future and blah, 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 and this and that. And it's like, that is like a hustler. That's more a hustler than a hero. Like, she's not like saving people's lives by predicting finances in the future, because it could easily be wrong. And honestly, it's not that hard to predict like when things are going up. Most people don't predict when it's like a huge drop. So whatever.
Yeah, no, and I watched her video and I really liked her, but my problem is she's on a tribe of 5 athletes, for lack of to wrap them all into one. She's on a tribe with 5 athletes, and she's a numbers person. She predicts trends. That's not what the rest of that group does, just from a career standpoint. So I see her having a really hard time fitting into her tribe.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I hate when this happens, because here you go. You have this person who just put on the wrong tribe. And in her video, she says she doesn't like when people say that she only got her job because she's a woman and all of that, which I think was them trying to play up. She's a hero for women. Like, look at that. But I feel like it's such a stretch at that point, because you've already told us that she's just like a financial analyst. And like, out of everybody else, like, she's been on the clearest path. It feels like she was on a path to become a financial analyst. She didn't have this crazy like backstory about where she was or what she did. It was just kind of like, look, I'm like kind of seen as like a groundbreaker in this industry, which is great. But I just don't buy the hero thing. Exactly. She's a hustler. She's definitely more of a hustler. Yeah. Because if you think about it, you go back to the celebrity thing, and if like they had a female like director who was on this, they would put her on the hustler tribe, not the hero tribe, in my opinion. Yeah. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I liked her, and I think she could do well, but I think she's if her tribe wins enough for a tribe stop, I think she's pretty golden. But if her tribe loses, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and the only good thing that she really has working for her is that her tribe is the oldest tribe. Katrina is the same age as her. Ben is 34. Alan is 31. Now, and also like with Ashley doesn't come across. Ashley's not your look at me, I'm the hot girl, that's what I'm here for. Like, that's not even, Ashley's not trying to play that game at all. She doesn't care. So I actually think that this tribe out of all of them, I think meshes the best, because you have people who have similar backgrounds aside from Chrissy, but I think they all might have similar mindsets. Alan's this NFL player. He is so soft-spoken and like calm and like like he's just thinking like the entire time. And I think he understands how he comes across, and that it's beneficial that his, career didn't blow up so that he could be on this show to do this. Like, it's very interesting. I think this was a tribe where these were like the first videos I watched, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Like this season it's so old school feeling, but it almost might be like boring because none of them are loud. And then you watch Katrina and she's like all over the place, but still like they're very calm.
Yeah, let's move on to Alan, because he was the first video that I watched. And so he was soft-spoken. So I'll go a few ways with him. So I saw someone mention in the comments, and he's going to be the quote-unquote celebrity. And I don't have a problem saying this because he said it himself. It doesn't seem like it sounds like he might go unrecognized. Like I don't think he will, because they casted him because who watches the Jaguars?
Thank you. That's my point.
That's my point.
No, I know. I'm backing up your point. That's why I'm saying, like I said, he played on the Jaguars.
Right. Don't steal my thunder here. Yeah, I think, and he played for like 7 other teams also. He did. His first minute was just like a list of teams he played for. Yeah. So, and he said it first. So people don't go around saying I don't think he's a celebrity, but he was very soft spoken. But the things that he was saying were all the negative qualities about him. He spent a long time talking about, I don't know, if I'm hungry, I'm going to be difficult. There are a lot of different personalities going on. And that's very good that he's aware of that. But that's what I'm a little nervous about him in that regard. But at the end, when he talked about all the different personalities needing to mesh, I was like, everyone knows that, but no one really articulates it very well. And he did a very good job of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I actually really liked Alan, and shout out to any American Beauty fans, because that's my favorite movie, written by Alan Ball. I'm sure they're the same person. Sure. But anyway, just had to do that. When I saw Alan Ball, I was like, there's no way Alan Ball is on Survivor. Like it said, like I just saw the name Alan Ball and I was like, the guy who wrote True Blood and like American Beauty and like all this crazy. I was like, there's no way. Anyway, just had to say that.
Yeah. You always got to make an American Beauty reference.
Always, anytime you can. But I think like this guy, he says he's cranky when he's hungry, but if his crankiness is like, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, that's a lot better than like, oh my God, I hate everybody. I want to beat the crap out of everybody. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't feel like Allen is that aggressive of a personality. He might have played in the NFL and all that, but Cliff also played in the NBA and he wasn't that aggressive personality. If
hopefully we get a Bob Dog type of cranky.
Hopefully, but hopefully we get a little bit more screen time. Yeah, I liked Allen. I really did. I don't think nobody's going to know that he was an NFL player unless he tells them. No one is going to have any idea. He wasn't a quarterback. He played, I think he said he played like defensive end or something. Whatever. Yeah.
But then to play devil's advocate, when we get a professional athlete, it's like they almost cast someone who knows them so that it comes out. Yeah. So I think he won't get recognized, but he also very well could.
He could. He absolutely could.
Should we move on to Katrina? She was referenced a couple times.
Yeah, we can move on to Katrina, who's the Olympian. Definitely the loudest character on this tribe. I think probably the loudest character on the season. Mm-hmm. She's very in your face with everything. Katrina could go either way for me. She could either be seen as like the, oh man, we really like you, like she's so much fun, whatever, but she could also come across as very intense. And she knows she's very intense. I think she's self-aware, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
That's what I was going to say. I think self-awareness goes a very long way in Survivor. It depends on how much it helps her, but I think right now you have an Olympic swimmer and you need to win challenges, you keep her. I think she's safe for a bit. I think she's safe.
46 though.
I don't know. I just, the thing is, like, you're going to tell me we have an Olympic swimmer who's already, I'm going to keep saying it, she's already an Olympic swimmer. She gets cast to be on Survivor. You think she's not going to retrain herself? I think she's already.
Can I ask you a question? Do you remember a woman by the name of Crystal Cox?
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Do you remember her? Because I'm pretty sure that when she heard she was going to be on Survivor, she stopped running for the next 3 months.
She actually just ate the whole time.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure she was like, you know what? I don't want to be in shape. This way, when we have to run up a hill, Maddie's got to ram his hand halfway up, you know. So good times on on Survivor Gabon. So Katrina could go either way for me. And what was Crystal? Crystal was loud.
I don't get the Crystal Cox vibe from her whatsoever because she's loud, but she does not seem argumentative. Mm-hmm. She seems like the friendly loud, and I think that is way better than what Crystal had going on.
Okay,
Crystal was
crazy. I mean, Crystal also got crazier as the season went on, and she was surrounded by psychopaths. That was the most psychotic season of all time.
That's absolutely ridiculous. We can't go a podcast without bringing it up.
Yeah. All right, let's jump to JP, who is my favorite from this tribe. And if any of the guys are going to win, I think it's going to be JP. Mm-hmm. That might sound a little crazy to some people because I think a lot of people are Joe fans right now, at least from looking at this little, the chat over here. Yeah, but I really like JT. I mean, or JP. God, I call them JT. Oh, game changers. Anyway, I thought JP... He knows that, like, his firefighter thing, he's on the Heroes tribe, but he's like, yeah, it's just a job. It is what it is. Like, everybody has a job. Like, this is what I do. He rescues dogs. His sister has a rare disease that he would like to help cure. JP has a story. This is another one. Is it going to come across authentic? And I think JP comes across more authentic than Cole. It was Cole, right? Yeah, I think JP comes across more authentic than Cole. And I think it's more because JP is so soft-spoken. And he's going to get onto this Heroes tribe, and I don't think he's going to be like, man, we're the heroes, we're the best. That's going to be Alan's role. You know, he's going to be the one who's super pumped to be on the Heroes tribe. I feel like JP is going to kind of take a back seat, maybe quietly lead them. And I could see him winning this game. I really could.
So he's one of the videos that I didn't see, but I'm reading his bio right now. And he covers a lot in his bio. And there's not a lot of space, but I get like 5 facts from him right off the bat. So like you said, it sounds like he's got quite a story. He's got a lot going on for him. So I get a good vibe just from that. I'll watch his video, but he's on a tribe of, now that we're breaking it down, it seems like some stronger personalities. And if he's soft-spoken and if he knows, all right, it's got to put my head down, do my job, win some challenges, that'll be really good for him early on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, go ahead.
I was about to say, he's also not, I don't think he's like the number one physical specimen on their tribe, which helps him.
Yeah, Allen is definitely the strongest guy, and JP is definitely not going to be the weakest. And then if you look at it, somebody like Cole, who literally spends time toning, as opposed to JP, who looks like, yeah, I'm a firefighter, like I have to work out for it, but like I'm not going to sit here and like, you know, I feel like JP could actually be a little forgotten, and I really think that JP might not be the biggest threat once the merge hits. I think that his tribe is going to have the numbers when the merge hits. This is just a completely early assessment here, but I think that they're going to have the numbers when the merge hits. I really think JP is meant to go far in this game. I'd be really surprised if he didn't, and if he didn't, it would have to be some crazy twist. Maybe it's like the Malcolm thing where there's a double boot again, or not the double boot, but the double tribal thing. That's the way I see JP going early. Otherwise, I think JP, you're looking at anywhere from 6th to 1st place. All
right. Yeah. That's a great assessment.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might be him versus your girl, Allie.
Hopefully. That's the initial reactions. Love Allie, love JP. Those are my two favorites. Jumping over to Ben, who's the Marine from Boise, Idaho. This guy, I liked him. He seems authentic. He just seems like a really genuine guy.
There's a huge butt coming, so just spit it out.
Well, the huge butt is just like, he says he can be vicious. What freaks me out is then he goes on to say 3 seconds later, screaming and yelling, get nothing done. Is he going to be the guy who says screaming and yelling gets nothing done, and then he goes out there and screams and yells at people, and like when they try to argue with him back, he keeps screaming and yelling at them? Or is he going to be the guy who can keep it together? Because we saw Shamar on this show. I think he was a Marine. He couldn't keep it together at all. Not at all. But then you look at somebody like Joe, who did keep it together. You can say what you want about Joe, but he kept it together. Except for like when he had that whole Peter moment, he just blows up in Peter's face. If Peter's a little bit more likable, Joe goes home. Which Ben are we going to get here? Are we going to get this like really laid back guy? Or are we going to get this guy who like has a hard time keeping his mouth shut, especially, and this is another huge assumption. But Ben is from Boise, lives in Boise, Idaho. He's a Marine. He's on a tribe with a woman whose personal claim to fame is walking alongside Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying. They might both be big personalities, and I could see that being something where they're at each other's throats a little bit.
Well, yeah, he's you look at his cast photo, and I'm not saying it's right, but he's the first person I looked at, and I thought, okay, I know the assumptions that people are going to make. And so maybe that's because he's the third person on the list, but and his bio is very short. So you say vicious. So a lot of people are talking about being snakes, being cunning. So maybe that's the vicious he's talking about. But if you're already saying that there's a disconnect between what he says 1 second and then what he says 3 seconds later, that's not great.
Yeah, and I do like Ben. I think he's a genuine guy. He tells the story about how he brought his, the guy that was like, I guess in his platoon or something. I don't know what it was, but died, and he brought the dog tags all the way to Texas to his family or whatever. Like, he seems like a very genuine guy. I just worry that being a Marine and all of this and having this story, that he might be genuine, but he might rub people the wrong way a little bit. I'm telling you, a Marine from Idaho and a woman whose personal claim to fame is walking next to Hillary Clinton. That Survivor casting did that on purpose. I'm telling you, they did that on purpose. I mean, it doesn't get more liberal, and I know I'm making a big assumption here because Ben didn't actually say what his politics were, but it doesn't get seemingly more liberal and seemingly more conservative than those two things going head to head.
Though to be fair, I mean, I think I have what I have on Ben. Do we want to try to make this a very seamless switch over to our last one?
If you would like.
I would like to. I was going to say, I watched Ashley's video and then I read her bio. I liked her video. I really liked her in her video.
What happened? Did I say that again? I'm reading this. Sorry, I'm sorry. I had to look, and Giovanni is telling me not to get political. I don't think I was getting political. I was just saying what their politics probably were.
Yeah.
Honestly, I will never say my politics on this podcast.
We're not getting political whatsoever.
I'm just saying that politics does play a role in New School Survivor. As much as you don't want to say it, but it does.
Yeah, and we're looking at 20 people knowing absolutely nothing about them and making vast assumptions about them.
Yes,
so
and also it's
if that's the one thing that everyone has the most issue with, they should probably have turned this podcast off an hour ago.
Yeah. So anyway, make your seamless thing over to Ashley. I'm sorry.
What I was just saying is I watched her video and I really liked her video. I
really liked Ashley.
Yeah, I thought she was this. I watched Alan and then Ashley, and she gave off a really great vibe in her video.
She's really funny in an unassuming way. You don't expect her to be. She's not outright hilarious. She's not like Courtney Yates where she's just snippy, and she's not just an outright hilarious character where it's just zingers. But her story was funny. Talking about how she left her job that was a desk job to go be a lifeguard in her mid-20s because she was that seems
Googled
cool.
a job to have. That's awesome.
That's crazy. I mean, that's such a ballsy move, but she said, she's not in a rush to settle down and do something she's going to do the rest of her life. And that's a cool personality to have. I mean, that's pretty cool. And she's competitive. She's another one who said, I won't be secondary to a male because I don't need them for anything. So, here she is on a tribe with, I would say she's on a tribe with 3 alphas. As much as JP is quiet, these are 3 alphas. So she says she's an alpha. This is going to be an interesting tribe. This really is going to be an interesting tribe.
I like it. And I think they could clash just as much as the other 2 tribes, but I think they just have more physical prowess going on where they can kind of just make it happen until something breaks.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I think that's pretty much accurate. I mean, the swimming parts, Ashley's going to kill it. So you can do that.
We have 2 professional swimmers, essentially.
Pretty much. I mean, you have Katrina and Ashley. Then you have, I'm sure Chrissy can do a puzzle. If she's an analyst who went to Penn, I'm sure she can do a puzzle. And then you have JP, Ben, and Alan who can carry anything they need to. I mean, this is the tribe that I see. They should be the best.
They should wipe the floor with the other 2. They should.
Yes, they should. And I don't necessarily think that this is the heroes in the same sense as heroes versus villains was. These aren't necessarily the good guys. These are just the people that people look up to. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yes, I'm completely with you. And when it first came out, I was like, we're really going to have another heroes tribe, but it's perceived heroes rather than survivor heroes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here we go.
There we have it.
There we go. That's the whole cast. Woo. Oh, man.
I know we did it right. Little over an hour. That was good time.
Do you want to read some comments or what are you thinking?
I could do a couple Twitter comments.
Let's do a couple Twitter comments because we only have Twitter because I didn't put a link to the other video.
Yeah. So where are you starting?
I'm going to start with Gamer Girl. Why didn't Patrick get words in the Meet the Cast video? Potential invisible edit. I want him to do well. See, these are the tricky things with these Meet the Cast now because now we feel like everything that we're being shown, they only had 4 minutes to show us in that Meet the Cast video. You would think every second of that was bound to be some sort of importance. Patrick could be your Tyler of this season. He could be very quiet but still very good, but then just kind of unceremoniously go.
So, again, this is my first time. I don't want to read into it so far as to say he has an invisible edit because he wasn't big in the cast video. It's kind of like how Adam was the first winner who was the first person in the intro shot. I really don't look into that. And I guess some people do, but I'm not too concerned about that. I couldn't find that tweet. So if you want to go to the next one, you can.
There you go. Okay, well, I'm going to read this Ice X one real quick. Please explain to me how an actuary can be considered a hero. Chrissy Hoffbeck is probably nice to everyone, but a hero? Totally agree with you there, Ice X.
Oh, there we go. I'm right there. Yeah, Ice X is always on our page.
Yes. And then he also says, how can Ryan, the bellhop, possibly last? It looks like a rainstorm or even a drizzle might blow him over. He is so tiny. He's so small.
Yeah, he looks a little skinny. All right, I'm caught up now.
Okay, cool. We're going to Geo. Go to Geo.
Okay, so I'm not going to go to Brooke. Okay.
Oh, no, you can go to Brooke. No, you're right. Oh, I missed that.
Never mind. Gia, would Ryan and Judd get along? I do not think so.
Probably not. Ryan's loud, man.
There are two strong personalities there, and just because they both work in New York hotels does not mean they would like each other.
Yeah, exactly. I will read Brooks because she said Patrick took Phil's spot. That's exactly what happened. I totally agree.
Phil was actually there, and then they found Patrick, who's like the slightly buffer version, and they were like, "Let's trade him out." And
I'm telling you, he's not buffer. It's the lighting in my apartment. I'm huge. It's
all the light. It's the
lighting in my apartment. I mean, I can't even touch my head.
To be fair, I don't want you to get burned the way that he's burned on day 0.
Yo, by the way,
sad.
Did you see Lauren's burn as well? I think the Hustler tribe is just red.
Yeah, her burn was bad. And Ashley's was a little red too.
Yeah, they were all red. Weird.
I know. Yeah, crazy. They're out on an island.
I know. Larry Miller, is it wise to think of who as a winner pick during pregame, then target them immediately like Mari?
Is it?
It depends. You don't necessarily have to.
I mean, we're just two people who are sitting in our apartment making these vast assumptions about these people we don't know. So who's the crazy person here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if those people would do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Gamer Girl, is Lauren screaming for his boot to anyone else besides me? We kind of went over this. But yeah, unfortunately, I am getting that vibe just based on the card that she was dealt, just like Chrissy.
Yeah. Giovanni, is Jeff Probst a hero or a hustler? Jeff is definitely a hustler. The way he got the job. Yeah, that's what he is. The way he got the job at like 39 years old is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Gamer Girl, both Cole and Devin seem like twins separated at birth. Can't tell which one's with, but both seem like both Survivor Jays. I mean, just because they're both like decently buff guys, I think they're very different.
Well, it was funny because when Taylor and Jay were on, everybody was comparing them as like the same person, and Will and I think called that like Jay was going to be so much better at the game than Taylor, and a lot of people liked Taylor more, which I thought was crazy. I kind of get that Devin and Cole could be like a Taylor and Jay, like they could be. It's just who's going to be who.
Yeah, though they are on different tribes, right?
No, they were on Millennials.
Oh,
these two are on a different
tribe.
No,
I'm talking about Cole and yeah. Gamer Girl again. JP's a firefighter, and firefighters have a good track record when it comes to Survivor. I think he'll do well. What other firefighters have we had?
Tom.
Oh, well, he's done well.
Yeah, he did well. Who else was a firefighter? Trying to think. Who else was a firefighter? Wes and Keith. They both made it pretty far.
Oh, true.
Jeremy, he won. Wow, yeah, there's a lot.
Wow, okay.
Firefighters are good.
Okay.
So you know what? Maybe that should have been my winner pick. I might change to JP at the end of all this.
You got some time.
He also lives in LA, you know?
Yeah, your guy.
We got Giovanni Oriana. Ben, to me, looks like Rancher Rick and Tom Westman combined. It's kind of funny.
Rancher Rick. When was the last time he was mentioned?
God. Oh, he was at one of the Survivor Orlando things, I think.
Oh, really?
Like last weekend or something. Yeah, still wearing the same hat.
Oh, my goodness. Rumor has it he hasn't taken it off.
Yeah.
Giovanni Oriana again. Are you guys going to change up the prop bet games?
We might turn to look at it a little bit.
Here and there a little bit.
We'll have to look at it as we get to that one. I think next we'll probably do the boot list. We normally start with the boot list, Will and I. At least that's what we did in the past. It'll be fun. Still, anybody who's not familiar with the boot list and the prop bet, anybody who made it this far and is new and you're still invested, boot list and the prop bet, they're a lot of fun. Last year we had so many. We had like hundreds. Boot list, I'm skeptical on because people cheat so hard, especially last season was brutal because like that whole thing leaked, guys. Like we know it. Whoever won that last year,
we believe you guys are smart, but no one is that smart. It'll probably be good because we are on an all newbie cast.
Yeah, but then prop bet was dope. Tune in for those. We'll get into all that later. We got Tyler Bellmeyer. Which seasons would you like to do rewatches for next offseason? Tyler.
Oh my goodness,
Tyler. Ended the offseason. It's the preseason.
Tyler, we are pumped for the season. Let us have this.
Yeah, right? It's Christmas.
Gamer Girl, do you think Simone will end up being a fan favorite? I think so. I think because of her placement in the way that the chips fell on this tribe, I don't know if she'll have the time to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, and I think I made my point on Simone. I don't think so. Survivor CBS fans, does Patrick look like Phil or does Phil look like Patrick? Patrick looks like Phil.
Yeah.
Duh. Come on.
Obviously. Come on. Gimme.
Yeah.
Gamer Girl, I don't think Alan will do well. He's a former celebrity. Most celebrities tend not to do well on Survivor. We already covered this, but I don't know. Yeah. Gary Hogaboom did pretty well.
I also think he fits more into the Grant and the Steve, right? Per celebrity.
Wow,
more so
a double Redemption Island reference there.
Yeah, more so than like Cliff or Jeff Kent, like where it was everybody knows who these people are. You know what I mean? Like whereas I don't think he's wearing a helmet. He's a 7th round pick. He plays for 7 different teams. Nobody's sitting there going, "Man, that's Alan Ball." You know, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I think only Danny Boatwright would be able to pull him.
I don't even think she would be able to.
Yeah. Where are we? IceX, did you notice how many players listed whining complainers as a pet peeve, while Simone listed hobbies as complaining? Yeah, we already talked about her, but her constructive commentary, I already forget it. That's our red flag, and I'm holding on to it.
Here's the best one so far. So we made the new banners, and Alexa made herself the investigator. And here's IceX. Alexa, the investigator, didn't watch a lot of the player videos. Is the title meant to be ironic? I saw that, and I thought
that was so funny. So it's not meant to be ironic. I picked it because I went back on the video. I had to dig through the videos where we talked about what I should be, and a lot of them were ridiculous, and that was the one that seemed to make sense. But after I talked about how I don't do anything at work, I was at work until 9:30 tonight, so I just could not watch them. So give me all the crap.
That's what you get for going to the tennis tournament.
Going for the what?
Going to the tennis tournament. That's what you get.
I know. I gotta stop taking Mondays off.
We don't feel bad for you if you're taking days off and then have to work 2 extra hours, Alexa.
I worked 4 extra hours, but that's clearly neither here nor there.
I'm having a great time with this. I needed to troll you because I was really pissed off at you.
What do you mean you were pissed off at me? That was so
because you got a vacation and I didn't.
I did not get a vacation. I was actually working while I was there, which was
for MLB Network. You went to a tennis.
Bill, I don't want people to know what I'm doing.
Really?
I don't want people, not necessarily, but it's called being on your phone and getting emails and having to respond to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how about that?
Did we just get in a fight?
I think we just got in our first fight.
Bro.
And thanks for announcing what I do on.
Did you not want people to know that?
I mean,
haven't we brought that up before?
No, we actually haven't. But yeah, I work for MLB Network.
Well, that got out. Whoops.
And actually, I'm on TV. Look out for me.
That's pretty funny because this whole time we've been hiding what Will does, and I never knew we were supposed to hide what you do.
I know it's not a supposed to thing. I mean, do people know who you work for? I don't know. I don't care.
Well, I also just changed my job. You've been there the entire time we've been podcasting. I thought
someone also found me on LinkedIn, which is bananas. Some viewer found me on LinkedIn because their name looked familiar, and I was like, well, whatever, not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
I don't work for Survivor though, so that's all that matters.
I guess that's what's really important.
Yeah.
You reading Brooke or IceX?
Brooke, Queen Cressy is a feminist hero breaking that glass ceiling. Yeah, I think she's really freaking awesome. I'm just so afraid for her tribes. I just don't think she'll fit in with her tribe, unfortunately.
The problem with that is that's what she's going to have to say as to why she belongs on the Heroes tribe. Mm-hmm. And as I already said, somebody like Ben, I don't think he's going to sit there and be I don't think Ben's a bad guy, but I don't think he'll necessarily be she's on the same level of me as Hero. I could see that totally being a way that he would think.
Yeah. Right? I'm totally with you. Yeah.
IceX, Katrina's best finish was 5th in one event, just saying. Yeah, but she had to make it to the Olympics to get 5th.
Yeah, she's a freaking Olympian. Come on.
She might not have medaled, but she got all the way to the Olympics.
When did our standard get so freaking high? Survivor CBS fans, do you believe that with this cast we'll have a strong winner or a flop winner? Let's get ready for some piping hot takes by Phil and Alexa.
Flop. What do you think?
Ugh, I don't freaking know.
Just say the opposite.
Strong winner.
There you go.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling very confident in it.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. It's like every other season. There's a few personalities that are just going to be what the hell?
Yeah. And also, because I refuse to rank winners, a strong winner versus a flop winner, it's I don't know. My strong winner is someone else's flop winner and vice versa.
Yeah. Oh, well, before we go here, I just want to point out, if you look at the cast photo that's on Gordon Holmes' thing, and you look at the men there, and you look at Mike is just completely pale, and then you look at like Cole and Devin are so tan, and then you look at like Ben, Patrick. Ben and Patrick are so sunburned, and then you look at Joe, and he's got like the beginnings of a sunburn, and you can see it on Katrina already. Because like, were these people just cooking out there for like the first day for press day? Did they just cook?
I bet that happened in like, well, first of all, how is Ryan not burned? But I think those burns happened after like, right? Just like two. Oh yeah. I know they're going to play him up so much that probably happened after like 3 hours of being outside. Like it's just insane, but they look way more burnt than anyone else I've seen recently.
Yeah. It's really weird because like even Cochran, when he got super burnt in Caramoan, it was like so late that he got so burnt. Like it wasn't like it was like day one. He was just like cooked. Like they're cooked. I couldn't believe it in the cast assessment. It's like now you're burnt and you got to go out there and play for 39 days. Like you're already at a disadvantage because you're just like burnt.
I know, right? Like you wonder how much they wander around beforehand. It's probably a good amount of time.
Yeah.
With all the photos and the videos and all that.
I mean, my God, Chrissy is so sunburnt. Okay. Anyway.
God, this poor peak group.
Maybe we'll do like who will have to get medevac due to sunburn.
Oh, that would be a good for the prop bet.
If it happens, I don't know.
Due to sunburn, I don't know. We had, who was it? Bobby John was pulling his shirt off of his open skin wound.
Stuck. Like, ew. Thanks for that. Thanks for that image that we all had hopefully forgotten. Well, if you like this, we're gonna do some prop bets. We're gonna do some fantasy games. We're gonna get into all of that stuff. For now. If you're still for some reason not just going to be looking at HHH stuff for the rest of this week and month and everything up to the I
don't know what else you would be doing.
You could go and watch our Panama and Guatemala rewatches. Telling you, even if like the off season comes around, you should rewatch them. It was really fun. We had a lot of fun doing it. I didn't insult Alexa and blow up her spot on national TV, so that was back then. That was better. Now we're feuding. So Alexa and Phil are about to go the same way of Phil and Will. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I forgot we're being snaky. But yeah, in the meantime, give us a tweet at Survivor Specialist. Enjoy all of our hip, fun new banners. Compliment them because I made them. Comment on how not tan I am. Or maybe I should just be as sunburned as all these people on season 35. But yeah, give us a tweet. Comment on this video. We will be back at some point next week. But yeah, we're super pumped about this, and I'm going to watch all the cast videos because
you're the investigator.
I got a lot of flack for not doing it.
Because you're the investigator. All right, so keep an eye on Twitter, and we will let you know when we'll be back.